Hey guys, welcome to this little breakdown video of the Dubtechno track that you might just heard. This is actually the very first video that I'm gonna make for my new community. You can find this on my website. It's like Patreon, but without Patreon. It's just on my website. So yeah, let's go into this video for today. I have a breakdown video because I have a little special setup. You might have seen my previous jams and a gig in Hanover made with the Erika Synth trilogy, but I made something in addition to this, and this is the Vermona Perfourmer, and I will go through the routing and the entire setup with you, and then I'm gonna explain some of the specialities of this little setup. All right, let's go. Cool. So first, let's go through the entire setup, all the machines. You see the first one here is the LXR-02 from Erika Synth. I use it as my drum machine. And what's special, I'm sequencing the Vermona Perfourmer with it. I will come to that in a second. In a very special way, by the way. I will explain the setup. Then I have the bassline DB01, which acts like a little arpeggiator in this tutorial, in this breakdown, in this track. Fuck it. And it gives the track a little techno feeling, in my opinion. Then I have the Zen delay, which plays a fundamental role in this track. I have the Big Sky, which you already know from my music. And I have the Vermona Perfourmer. So the audio routing is as follows. The LXR goes straight to my mixer. There is nothing in between. There's no compression, nothing. I wish I could have something, but right now it's really a raw sound going to my mixer channel number 1. Mixer channel number 2 is a bit different this time. As you might have seen, I will switch my camera to the Vermona. You might have seen this little input cable here. And you also might notice that I switched off the oscillator on strip number 4. The reason is fairly simple. I wanted to use the delay and the reverb effects also for the bassline, but I also didn't want to add another channel on the mixer because of portability reasons in a way. That is why I connected the main output of the bassline to the input of the Vermona. That means the audio is put into this strip, the oscillator is switched off, and I can modulate the signal with the filter. Actually, the bassline has a very nice filter on its own, but still, this is pretty handy because the Vermona filter puts a little different flavor on it. And I can switch this bassline on and off by simply turning off the cutoff filter, putting it down. And what you maybe not have seen is that I also turned off the envelope generator for this voice. The reason is, if you turn it on and you have an input source connected, the input source will only play when the Vermona receives a MIDI note. But I want to hear the entire sequence that's playing on the DB01. So I turned off the envelope generator for this strip. And that means that there's a constant voice or a constant note playing. So I continuously hear the bassline output. And the Vermona entire sum goes into the Zen delay, and then from the Zen delay to the Big Sky reverb, and then to my mixer. It sounds a bit complicated, but it offers some really cool possibilities. All right. That is the speciality number one. And the other thing is, I told you in the beginning, I'm sequencing the Vermona with the LXR. I heard it in a tutorial on YouTube that is possible, and I simply wanted to try it out, how that works. I have to tell you, yes, it works, but right now I can't get different notes sequenced on the LXR. I will first show you the configuration so you can maybe repeat it with your own stuff. I'm using only one voice number one, to send the steps to the performer, and the steps are shaped with no, it's playing. And the steps are shaped with different pitches of each of the voices. I will show you that in a minute. So first of all, let's check the configuration. What I did here is, if you go to the mix page, I've set this to channel number one. So the MIDI goes out to channel number one. And what's important is that you check the configuration of your project and you turn on note send. So in my case, this is transmitting the notes as well. If there's a N, oh, now you can't see that. If there is an N in the value here, that means the notes are transmitted. For the rest, this is all switched off in my configuration because the LXR works as my master clock as well. And you see there is a MIDI out going out here. It's going straight to the performer input. And from the performer through, the MIDI goes to the bassline, and then it goes out to the performer, to the to the reverb. And actually, I just noted I forgot to put the Zen delay in this chain as well, so that the Zen delay is synced with the BPM speed of your track. I don't know, I actually forgot it. I'm just back from a gig and I put all of my gear in a case and I simply forgot it. Anyways, it worked without it as well. So that is a MIDI routing. And yeah, what I told you, that I can send single notes, but that's it. You cannot sequence a melody, even it says you can. If I go to my sequence, you see it's only 2 notes, and this should be C5, but I can't send other than C5. Even if I switch this to another note, it's still playing a C5, and I still don't know why, because I have no clue. For this track, it's okay for my very first beginning. Now let's go to the Vermona and check what I configured there. All right, so the configuration of the Perfourmer is a little bit different than I usually do. First of all, I'm using the monoplay mode M1. That means that incoming notes will play all the same strip, but it requires that you put the same MIDI channel number on all of the tracks you want to use for this. And I'm using strip number 1, 2, 3, and you see I've configured it to MIDI channel number 1 because on the LXR, I told the LXR to send the MIDI notes to MIDI channel number 1. So this is going here. You might ask yourself, how can he play chords with only one note? Because each of the tracks on the LXR can only send one note. It's not a multi-note capable sequencer. I will tell you in a minute. And on MIDI channel number 2 is the 4th strip, and this is reserved for the bassline sounds that I was talking about. And now the secret of this whole thing is that I changed the tune for each of the 3 voices so that at the end I get a chord. I will play that for you. Just 1 second here. I made this a pretty plucky sound. You can also hear the bass line already playing in the background. And let's quickly switch off the bass line, volume down, simply because I want to show you the chord configuration. Nice sound. And if I switch these knobs, I can get different chords. Surely I could add the 4th voice as well to have a 4-note chord. Maybe I do that in the future. I think it's also a great technique for creating kind of pads. And with a little bit of exercising, I think you can play this like a chord machine or something, and still you can switch the octaves of each voice. So I can create some darker sounds or turn the oscillator wave to a different wave shape. Well, this is actually not really working now, but you know what I want to tell you. Yeah, this is the configuration of this track. I think it's pretty interesting what you can do when you think a little bit out of the box, and with a little exercising, I think this could be an addition for playing live, simply because I thought that my tracks could need some more melodic elements, and I think with the Perfourmer this is a great idea. Okay, so what I want to add some little downsides of this technique. And if you're familiar with the LXR-02, you might know that this is known as a very buggy machine. And sometimes, I don't know when and why this is going to happen, if I play if I press a knob here, and for instance in the performance mode I want to switch off the track that's playing the MIDI note, sometimes it's playing a chord on the Vermona. And I don't know, sometimes when I switch off the machine and I reload the project, it's gone. but it's not really reproducible. So MIDI and this machine, I will I will keep working on it, because I think it could be an interesting addition to my setup, with staying DAWless and without sequencing the Vermona with Ableton, because these Dubtechno chords are, well, it's only a chord. But what's not possible right now is to have a change in the keynote, for instance, which could make it more interesting. But right now it doesn't work. Maybe any of you guys, maybe any of you guys know how to do that. Let me know in the comments. I know that you can set the keynote of the track if you go to the Perfourmer, to the performance note. No, where is that again? Is that on the mix page, or is it in the settings page? I actually forgot it, but there is a keynote. If you change this, then the entire output is going to play on this keynote. So yeah, I'm still interested, and my next idea is to play some pads with it. Yeah, let's see what I can do with that. Guys, I hope that was a little helpful for you. If you like this video, comment below, tell me what you think. If you maybe tried this out as well, that could be helpful to know other ideas, but I'm pretty sure everyone will tell me LXR is a buggy machine and don't use it for MIDI sequencing. Anyway, I didn't talk about the Zen delay and the big sky, but I think you heard what was going on. I didn't change it during the performance, but it was giving a really nice texture and background movement to the track. All right, thanks a lot. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, or subscribe to one of my community tiers and be a member of my little online community on www.59perlen.com. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you soon.